Okay, so I will launch the webinar now. So wish you a lot of success, everyone. See you later. Fabrizio, we are live. We can start.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really pleased to start this webinar. That is the webinar at the end of a long activities that we have carried out in a consortium with the University of Western Macedonia, the University of Cyprus, the University of Ulm, the École des Mines ParisTech in France, and our industrial partners, WIP and Deloitte. And this is a really a good moment, because now we have prepared everything to launch a new master on smart grids, but more not only on smart grids. It's a new master that is capable to cover working around the thermal smart grid. It's a really a master that is that aims at covering the topics on energy transition, and we have the ambition to educate new professionals really capable to face the challenges of the current situation we are living, and the challenges that are coming from the energy transition, and that is really one of the most important aspects to save our world. And before starting with the presentation of MOST, I'm very pleased to have as a keynote speaker Pierre Marillet, that is the director for research and development and innovation in Enedis, the main DSO, distribution system operator in France. Pierre Marillet is a diplôme engineer from l'École Polytechnique and l'École Nationale Supérieure des Mines de Paris. He worked for 3 years with the European Commission and the Department of Energy, DG Energy. And then he worked for 11 years with EDF R&D, and he was in charge of the Transmission Network Economics and Design Group. And during 3 years, and he was also in the Power System Dynamics and Control branch during other 4 years. He was also regional manager for EDF and Gaz de France during 6 years. And presently, as I said, is the director for R&D and innovation in Enedis. But he is also the chairman of SIRET, the most important organization on energy distribution. And he also worked a lot with CIDRE, and is also in many other organizations on power distribution. And but most important, is really a very good friend of mine, and so I'm very, very happy to host him here, and I'm sure that his vision on the future of the energy system as smart grids will open new ideas, will enable us to start new projects and new visions for the future. So Pierre, the floor is yours, and we are eager to listen your keynote.
Hello, so good afternoon, everybody. And first, I want to thank you, Fabrizio, for having invited me to speak to this workshop. We have been working together in the technical committee of SIRET for maybe 10 years, and it's a real pleasure to be working together with you in a very nice organization. So I want also to congratulate all the stakeholders who have decided to create this joint training undertaking, because this is really, we need new skills for the smart grids, and we'll be very pleased in the industrial companies to have the graduates from this distinguished program. So first of all, I would like to say a few words about Enedis. Who is showing? Sophia, are you showing the slides, or should I do it?
As you prefer, Pierre.
Sorry.
I can share them for you. Wait. Yes.
Okay, that's very kind. That's very kind.
Are you able to see it now?
Yes, very good. So if we move to the next slide. So yes, so a few words about Enedis. So we are a fully owned subsidiary of the EDF Group. We are an independent TSO and fully unbundled. We have 37 million customers connected to our grid. Our total sales amount to 14 billion euros. We invest 4 billion euro every year, and our EBITDA is also a little above 4 million euro. We have a total of close to 39,000 employees. As you can see also, we are connecting some new customers. Close to 400,000 new customers are connected to our grid almost every year. We have now 450,000 generation connected to our facilities, amounting to 29 gigawatts. Next slide. So what is the main characteristics of the present world? We have, in fact, 4 major revolutions ongoing. We have the energy transition, of course. Everywhere in the world, we want to decarbonize the economy, and the energy is undergoing a real revolution. In the field of power generation, we are shifting to renewable generation, mostly wind and power, which are quite different from the previous generation, which is intermittent and decentralized, and it's a very big revolution. We also move to electrify the use of electricity with new solutions like e-mobility, but also heat pumps for the heating. So this is really a complete change in the system. We have a second revolution, which is related to sustainability. We also want to limit the impact of human activity on the environment. It's not only cutting CO2, but also limiting other kind of impacts on the environment. We have a third revolution, which is a digital revolution. Our ability to generate, store, and process data is changing in a quite astonishing way. And there are new solutions which are developing, like artificial intelligence, but also blockchain, digital twins. We have 5G coming. We have IoT. So this is also a revolution which is completely changing the way the distribution systems are operated. And fourth, last but not least, we have a societal revolution or evolutions. What people expect now is not what people expected 10 or 20 years ago. So this is also making some changes on our system. So this is a very big change, and the change is accelerating. Because of this change, we have 7 key challenges smart grids should address. I will quickly list these challenges and then say a few words on each of them. The first one is to transform the operation of distribution system to facilitate the energy transition. The second one is to prepare the public service of the 21st century in response to citizens' and territories' expectations. The third challenge is to better meet our customers' needs and to offer new services. The fourth challenge is to create the conditions for a rapid deployment of electric mobility. The fifth challenge is to adapt employees' skills and transform managerial practices. Sixth challenge is to improve the industrial performance. And the seventh challenge is to make digital transformation a real asset for DSO like Enedis. So I'm going to briefly detail these 7 challenges. Transform the operation of distribution systems to facilitate the energy transition. As I mentioned, we have a development of decentralized renewable generation, of also new energy users like e-mobility and others. We have also changes in the power system with the development of hydrogen, which is expected. And we have also increasing coupling of energy vectors like heat, cooling, and so it's creating a more complex system. So we have to adapt our planning methods to the evolution of energy systems, how to decide the best investments which are to be made. This is also challenging because we are increasingly having a system of systems. We have smart homes with decentralized intelligence. We have smart buildings. And as a DSO, we are now coordinating and operating a system of systems. So we have to adapt the way we plan the grid. We have to develop also new solutions to deal with local congestions at the operation planning and control stages. We have to anticipate congestions and activate the best solutions to deal with these congestions. And we have to keep in mind that most of these congestions are linked to voltage levels, so which is maybe more difficult to manage than just simply a question of power. So we have to prepare the use of new flexibilities. Everyone talks about flexibility, but it's something which is the concept is simple, but when we want to really implement it, it's quite complex because the flexibilities to solve a congestion, you have to activate local flexibility, which is quite fit and quite specific to the local circumstances. So it's very difficult to make this in a transparent and effective way. We have to prepare the DSOs to play a new role in the management of local systems and to adapt the DSO-TSO interface. In the past, the TSO was in charge of the reliability of the large system, the European system and also the national system, using activating solutions which were connected to its grids. They could activate large plants connected to its grid. But now, to maintain the stability of the large European system, the TSOs will have to rely on solutions which are connected to the DSO grid. And it means that full new solutions have to be devised. We have to optimize the interface. We cannot imagine that the TSO will directly activate means connected to the DSO grid without checking that this is not creating problems on the DSO grid. So it's really a joint system which has to be devised. Some example, how to measure if we are close to a collapse. And if we have a major blackout, how to restart the system using the means connected to the DSO grid. How to jointly run a system with only a virtual inertia. So I'm moving to the next challenge, preparing the public service of the 21st century in response to territorial and citizens' expectations. As a company, we have to limit the impact of our activities on the environment. For instance, we are now using a lot of components incorporating SF6, but SF6 is a major greenhouse effect gas, and so we have to find new components without SF6. But there are also some other components which could have a negative impact on the environment, like impregnated poles and some other components. So we have to work to limit our impact on the environment. We are also limiting the carbon footprint of our activities. Then the citizens also, and the local communities also want to help them to design and implement local energy policies. Increasingly, energy policies are designed at a local level, and the local authorities expect DSO to help them to evaluate the best options to decarbonize energy. For instance, should they design a local heat grid or a local cool network, and what will be the impact on the electricity consumption? How this will interact? Should they focus? What should be their priority? Should it be residential districts or office districts? Should they devise policies to first focus on this refurbishment of buildings, etc.? So we can help them to devise their policies. Last point. The citizens also want to have to have local goods. Increasingly, people want to buy the fruit produced locally. They don't want to buy the fruit coming from South Africa or South America. They want to buy the apples produced locally. And what is the equivalent in fields of energy? And they want to have energy which is produced locally. And as a DSO, we can help to certify the origin of electricity. And this is some new services that we are going to develop, design, and implement. Third challenge, better meet customers' need and offer new services. As any company, we have customers, and we have to better serve our customers. So we have to provide our services in a better way. We have to reduce the times for connection. We have to improve our ability to provide information about outages. How long will it take? How much time is needed to reconnect people? Also, when we have some appointment with a customer to for instance, to change a meter or to do something that he is expecting us to do for a new connection, we have to be quite good at telling at what time we will come and when the service will be made available. Then I'm moving to the next challenge. Create the condition for the fast development of e-mobility. E-mobility is probably the trigger of the change which will be happening in the fastest way. And year 2021 will probably be a milestone we will remember. It's really last year that the number of sales of this year, I mean 2021, we have not moved to next year. This year, 2021, is really the year where it happened. The sales of electric vehicles in Europe is really now amounting to, depends from one country to another, but it could be 10-20% of the total sales. So it's really a disruption. Also, the European Commission in the Fit for 55 package, Commission has said that they would ban thermal vehicles. The initial plan was 2040, but the Commission says that the plan is to ban the thermal vehicles by 2035. And this has really created a shift in the way the automobile industry is considering its future. Now they don't plan to produce and to sell new thermal cars. They are really planning a full new range of EV, full EV offer. So we have to. This will be changing our systems a lot. We have first to evaluate, to anticipate what will be to have to foresee the demand connected to these new electric vehicles, which is not easy because we have to simulate the way people will behave. Will they be charging at night or during or not? Will they be cautious and charge before they have a long travel to do, or will they be expecting to find fast chargers along their way? So it's a big challenge to have a proper forecast of the actual need for electricity connected to e-mobility. Then we have to evaluate the capex need connected with it. We have also to prepare for smart charging and vehicle to grid. We have also to enable the development of new business models and new services connected with e-mobility. There are a lot of service providers who will develop and aggregators who will use the EVs, which are indeed batteries on wheels, as a source of flexibility, which can be used for the system. It could be for the supply and demand balance, but it could be also to alleviate congestions on the network. So we are going to see new service providers. Also, it's a challenge for metering. Indeed, we have now users which are moving and metering points which are moving. So next slide. Another challenge is to adapt the employer's skill and transform the managerial practices. We have to improve workers' health and safety using new digital tools. We have also to adapt our training and career paths. For instance, we are going to use tools for training based on virtual reality and augmented reality. We are also to provide support to our workers, both on the field and in the office, to do their job using artificial intelligence. And we will also adapt to the societal evolutions to adapt the way we manage our teams. Then we have to improve the industrial performance of our industrial performance. It means that we have to anticipate the emergence of new components. We have to optimize asset management practices using big data to predict outages. We can use drones to control our lines. We can use artificial intelligence-based tools to diagnose our components. We also have to increase the ability to monitor and control medium voltage and low voltage networks. We already have a good ability to monitor and control medium voltage networks, but there is a big challenge with low voltage networks. There is an issue to guarantee the resilience of networks, both because of the climate change with new climatic events which could damage our grids, but also because of the growing interdependency dependencies between power systems and IT systems, and with a specific challenge due to cybersecurity. And last but not least, our fifth challenge is related to the digital transformation. We have to anticipate IT disruptions. I mentioned big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain, digital twins, 5G, and all this will be changing the way we manage our grids. So many challenges, and so I mean, preparing this future, all the community in charge of preparing this future in the DSOs, but also in the solution providers like Siemens or Schneider or others, but also all the researchers and academics have a very challenging task, and I think that we have to work closely together to prepare for this revolution. So sorry to have been 1 minute too long, but thanks a lot, and I wish you a very, very successful workshop this afternoon.
Thank you, Pierre. I was really fascinated by your keynote, and I have a question for you. What do you think about a master that is based on a multidisciplinary approach? Because looking at your presentation, it's not only about power and energy, it's also about data analysis and communication and 5G, a lot of different topics. Is it useful to have an open background, or better to be specialized, or better to be open and specialized?
Well, I think we have, as often, innovation is at the crossroads of different fields. So, and I would say that maybe 5 years ago, the guys from IT, experts in big data, were more or less saying, okay, give us the data and we will give you the solution, trying more or less ignoring the physical laws and engineering basics. But this was 5 years ago. Now I think there is a wide agreement that you have to get a proper way to have the data analysts and the experts of a given field to work together to better to find the best solutions. We had some good examples in the fields of aging of transformers, for instance. If you have a pure data scientist, it's going to be difficult for him to really find a proper prediction parameter. But if you have a specialist of transformers working jointly with data analysts, they will be much more efficient to find a good prediction parameter to predict faults. So I think that the future will really to have these experts in I would say traditional electro-technical techniques, and data analysts should work together. That's really my conviction, and what we see from the results, which we now are very pleased to have.
Yes, Pierre, just two questions before leaving you free. And one question is from the audience, is about what kind of services a regulated DSO can offer beyond the meters. And the second question is about how do you decide if it is better to build a new line or purchase the services from third parties?
Well, of course, we have a new role as a data manager, a neutral data manager. This role of because of the smart meters, we now have 34 million smart meters connected and fully operational. We collect a lot of data and this data, according to countries, this role of neutral data managers has been given in some countries to the TSO, like for instance in Denmark or in Poland, or to the DSO, and in France, the DSO, so Enedis is in charge of, has this role of neutral data manager. And this means that we collect the data, we store data, and we make it available to customers and to service providers that the customers accept So we collect the consent of the customers, and we make this data available to service providers. And some new services will be devised by service providers, but we as a DSO, we can also define services and provide this service. For instance, on the website of our company, you can have some indication of your load curve, and you can also have it on the supplier's website. So both you can find information both on the DSO website and on the supplier website. What we can do is we can provide we can compare the load profiles of a district and give this information to local authorities, telling local authorities, well, according to this is your the electricity which is used by the district. And we can compare using data which is available on open data. We can compare this district with comparable districts in other cities. And we can say this is a district with this kind of houses and with that many inhabitants. And this is the consumption. And if we compare it with some other district, your district is more energy efficient or less energy efficient. And this can help the local authorities to devise their policy. For instance, if they have a district where they have a lot of residential customers and which is really not energy efficient, they could devise a scheme to promote the energy efficiency in homes. What we can do also, we can measure the energy consumption before and after renovation of a building, and assess the effectiveness of the renovation. So this can be done by us. This can also be done by some other service providers. We have a very ambitious policy on open data. So you can go on our website, and if you look for it very easily, you will find a huge amount of data which is made available.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can confirm. I have downloaded some of your information on French network for research projects. And Pierre, unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss more with you on this topic. But please let me thank you for the time that you have reserved to us. And it was really a special pleasure to have you with us. I know that you have a lot of meetings today, so I'm not sure that you can stay with us for all the webinar. But in any case, thank you very much on behalf of the consortium of the MOST project. Thank you very much, Pierre, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Fabrizio. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now I think it's time to talk about MOST. And Susanna, I think, can give a clear overview of the MOST project. Susanna, don't worry about the time. I reduced my presentation time, so take your time for your presentation. And Susanna is a research assistant at the University of Cagliari, and also worked as a project manager on MOST, and she did a lot of activities for this project. So I'm really happy to introduce her. And Dr. Susanna Mochi, please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Fabrizio. Thank you. Can you see my presentation, Fabrizio?
No, that's the sharing is in progress.
Okay. Now?
Oh, yeah, I don't see any presentation, but only there's written that the sharing is in progress. So maybe
I will try again.
Yes, please.
I will try to share again my screen. Please let me know if now it works.
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Fabrizio. And dear smart grid experts and potential students, my name is Susanna Mocci. I work in UNICA in project and financial management of the MOS project. I'm also a MOS proponent and course lecturer, so I'm very proud to see this project developed from the very early stages up to the highly competitive master that has become now. And I think it offers a lot of interesting answers to future students. Its interdisciplinary nature allows students from different backgrounds, from electrical, electronic engineering, computer science, communication, and also power system to mix and exchange in their knowledge.
Susanna, can you start again sharing, because we only see a black image.
Or Susanna, maybe I can say it for you. Maybe I can.
Yes, please.
Is this one?
Okay, now this is we see a presentation now.
Exactly. So Susanna, just tell me when I should pass the. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I think okay. I think that.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Sophia. So this is the outline of my presentation. After a brief introduction, the MOS project overview, the objectives, the activities, and conclusions are presented. The context is the current energy transition towards low carbon economy necessary to reach the European goals, in which smart grids will play a fundamental role. In fact, they enable the decentralized operation of energy systems that is crucial to efficiently manage renewable energy source. They offer a bidirectional way of exchange of electricity and information between source and consumers, adding flexibility into the grid. Please. The context, the development of the smart grids needs highly specialized and flexible skilled workforce to respond to the challenges and emerging opportunities in the market. So new curriculum for postgraduate students are now needed. And please, also in Europe, there is the need. Next slide, okay. In Europe, there is the need of well-skilled workforce to compete in terms of productivity, quality, and innovation. The MOS project is fully aligned with the European commitment, and by creating new experience for graduates who are interested to specialize on smart grids technologies, and offering relevant and high quality skills and competence for students in higher education. The overview of the project. MOS project has established a strategic cooperation among high-profile institutions across 5 European countries. As mentioned before, the University of Cagliari is the lead partner of this project. Our colleagues and friends are from Germany, WIP, Ulm University of Applied Science from Germany. From Greece, we have our partners from the University of Western Macedonia, École des Mines Paris from France, and from Cyprus, University of Cyprus FOSLab and Deloitte. The budget is around 440,000 euros, and the project is now in its final stage. MOS project aims to develop an innovative and targeted master's program on smart grid technologies to educate the smart grid professional of the future. The main goal is to create synergies between education, research, and industry innovation in order to facilitate the energy transition towards low carbon economy. The master course, it's very international, which is always interesting for the students, and it will be offered in 3 universities around Europe, in Sardinia, in Greece, and in Cyprus. The program is structured in 3 semesters. The first semester gives all students a common background on power systems and power distribution, power electronics, communication, and economy, with a focus on the design and the operation of a smart grid. The second semester gives students the theoretical and practical knowledge on smart grid design and operation. Each module should focus on smart grid design and development with practical applications. So the first one is the common background, and before the specialization, the second semester is for 3 different specializations in which students can choose different courses in a list of eligible courses. And the third semester is for the master course finalization with a period in a company and the final thesis. The main phases are: 1, the development of high quality content on smart grid for higher education. 2, the creation of living laboratories in real life environments. 3, the creation of virtual labs to test control facilities, storage, and PV installation. And 4, the pilot testing and refinement of the master course. The highlights: together with a close cooperation with the industry, the important things is that as a student, you will be able to experience both the virtual and the living labs. Please, Sophia. The living labs will allow you to, as a student, to test the knowledges learned during the master course in a real-life environment and assess the response of actual users. The virtual labs serve as a common ground for the students to be able to work together even if they are located in different parts of Europe. However, I think that the most attractive point of this master course is that from the initial stage, it takes into consideration the industry needs. And throughout the 3 semesters, you will have the opportunity to be in a close cooperation with industry experts. The project, in fact, brings together experts in the field, not only from academia, but also from companies with high-level experience in engineering, research, and training capacity. Please. Okay, you can move forward. The activities are the project and financial management and implementation, the quality control of the master course MOST, communication and dissemination, point led by our colleagues from WIP, and 3 intellectual outputs. The first one is the development of the master course. The second one is the creation of the living labs. And the third one is the creation of a virtual smart grid lab. The products of the communication disseminations are the web project website, the newsletters, the communication via social media, and videos and publications. The results are our intellectual outputs, and then also the pilot testing of the course and refinements, the increase of awareness and promotion of smart grid technologies, the awareness raising of the job prospects offered within the renewable energy sector in the smart power market. In fact, we expect a promising future with 280,000 new positions related to the smart grids and new full-time jobs and employment related to renewable energy source and energy efficiency that are still growing up. As my conclusion, if you are a student and if you want to receive an outstanding education on all the aspects of smart grid technologies, and if you want to leave university with skills directly applicable in the job market, so as soon as it is officially launched, apply to the new master course MOST and become a smart grid expert. Next slide, please. Now, I want to show you a small video, and I don't know if Sophia, are you able to launch it?
Can you please try doing it, Susana, because I don't have it open. Otherwise, my colleague Silvia, if you are not able to do it, my colleague Silvia will.
I try again.
Thank you.
I think that if the video is not starting now, we can proceed with the presentation and launching, running the video later.
How do you prefer, Fabrizio?
Yeah. Okay. So we can start with the other
Okay,
presentation.
I think now it is working.
It's working. Okay.
The current electricity grid has evolved over 100 years. It has served the economy and society brilliantly, but is not sustainable for modern times due to its one-way architecture.
We cannot see it, Susanna.
No, we only have the audio.
Okay, so
better to stop now and
okay, I stop it. Okay.
Okay, that's I hope you can see my presentation now, and if not, please say me something. And just few slides to explain how the program is structured. And as you can see, MOST is an international curriculum for building the new professionals on smart grids. And the briefing, I have a brief outline. There's just few words for introducing the matter, but Pierre Maillet said us a lot of things about the smart grids, so I think that we don't need a lot of time on introduction. And then we have some points on goals and structure for the master program and some conclusions. And this is just the introduction. And the energy transition is really an industrial revolution. It's really a profound revolution. And if we assume that we really want to achieve the goals in 2050, and so that if we assume that in 2050 we have carbon neutrality, and that means that we are talking about an economy that is expected to be 2 times bigger than now, and the world population will be 2 billion more people, and the energy consumption 80% less, plus the reduction in CO2 emissions and reduction on pollution and so on. So this is really an industrial revolution that need new professionals and new skills. It's not it's really a very big change of our economy. We can say that in this sense, this industrial revolution can be described as green energy plus electrification. And this is what Boris Johnson said just a few days ago, and I think that this is really a good picture, because the electrical energy is really in the center of the energy village, and much more than in the past. And everything will be about electricity and green generation. And so then we have to cover some to bridge some gaps on education. And so one of the goals is to cover the educational gap on smart grids with the multidisciplinary and cultural contamination. And the other goal is to give appropriate skills for future needs. And we have to design and give skills. And we have to create new professionals capable to deal with this, increase the complexity. And we have to prepare professionals with a good combination of theory and practice. And we want to promote the coordination with the industry and job market. And for sure, internationality is an added value of this new education. And finally, we want to use innovative ways for teaching. And so distance teaching, virtual smart labs, and so on, just are all the parts of this general design. And if we look at the system as it was in the past, and this is the traditional system, we have the generation, the transmission, the distribution, the secondary substation, and then we have loads, residential and the industrial. As you can see, everything is electrical, and in the residential load, we are used to have electricity for lighting, and we are used also to use fuels for heating in many cases. And then we started with renewable energy sources. Okay, and MOST is dealing with this. We have some process dealing with how to use and how to improve and how to manage high shares of renewable generation. Wind and PV are just two examples of the most common. And then to manage, we need more flexibility, and we need storage. And so this is another point that's also covered by MOST. And then we have to integrate different systems. A clear example is the transportation. We have to integrate private transportation, but also public transportation with the electrical network. And again, you can see behind the pictures the MOST logo, but it means that MOST covers with the specific modules and courses all these aspects: how to use efficiency, how to deal with the demand response, how to involve smart industrial loads in the system, and so on. And this is exactly what we can call it. This is a smart grid that needs monitoring, forecast, control and operation, and advanced communication systems and integration of different energy. So electricity is at the center of the industrial revolution. Absolutely. And but we have also sectors that are hard to abate, difficult to abate in terms of use of fuels. And again, MOST is also about what we call sector coupling. Electricity is in the center of the energy village, in the sense that we can produce with renewable green energy, we can produce green fuels, green gas, hydrogen, and we can use and we can integrate not only the electrical system, but also the gas system. And this is another reason to have a smart approach to the management of different energy systems. So what is MOST?
Sorry, Fabrizio, to interrupt you, but we hear some background noise. I don't know if there's a problem with your microphone.
Yeah, maybe, is it better now?
It seems to be better, yes.
Yeah, okay. And the MOST in a nutshell, you can see we have 3 semesters. And the first semester is what we say for building the background, paving a common knowledge. We want to have the master students from different backgrounds, and we have to harmonize them. And also the semester 1 is a good opportunity to create an international community of students. And so all the students will go to the University of Western Macedonia for the first semester. And then we have the second semester that is, we can say, building the skills and the specialization. So here we have 3 different specialization opportunities. And one is in the University of Cagliari, one is the University of Cyprus, and the other one is again in the University of Western Macedonia. And the idea is to educate on modern energy system and to specialize on a specific topic, and traveling is mandatory, and then students can practice on living labs. And then we have the semester 3 that in some way could be described as the building the job opportunity. And in this we have to prepare the final thesis, we have to prepare the dissertation, but most important, we have to interact with companies, we have to work with companies, we have to find the first opportunities for green jobs. And so these are the very, very fast list of courses for the first semester. We have general topics like electric power distribution, distributed energy resources and renewable energy sources, and power electronics, control and automation, networking, communication and security, and then economy of energy markets and regulation. And then we have laboratories. That's you say design of power distribution and design the communication infrastructure for smart grid and design the automation system for smart grid. And this is semester 2, building the skills. Option 1, smart grid development. And here is a list of courses. And there was a question before, how can a DSO decide if it's better to use to build a copper and iron or purchasing a service? And this is exactly what we can try to answer with this first list of courses. And as you can see, we have some bold. That means these are mandatory, and then there are other eligible, and the students can choose. And the total credits is 30. So 20 are mandatory, and 10 can be chosen by students. And second semester, operation and control of smart grids and local energy networks. Again, that is the same scheme, but this is offered by the University of Western Macedonia in Greece. And here we specialize on how to operate and a smart grid and a distribution grid, also including the multi-energy vectors and sector coupling. And finally, we have the option 3 for semester 2. Students can decide to go to Cyprus, the University of Cyprus, and in this case, here they can study customers' market opportunities. And again, you see the same scheme, 20 credits mandatory and eligible modules. And any module is taught by instructors that are in both in the hosting institution, but also from other institutions. So that means that, for instance, the energy storage and the electromobility is taught in the University of Cyprus, the FOSS laboratory, but that there are also some contributions with real time from other European universities to teach the same topic. And semester 3 is very simple. It's only about writing the thesis and preparing the dissertation and working in a company for increasing the practical experience on the topic. So in conclusion, the scheme is quite simple. One semester all together in one European country, Greece. Then the students can decide which is the preferred topic they want to follow, and so they can choose Greece, Cyprus, or Italy, and then they have to prepare the final thesis. And that's most promotes interdisciplinary education, promotes the internships of students and academics, has a structure that fits with the other European funding schemes. So we are working to find money for allowing students to travel, and most adopts innovative didactical methodologies and tries to bridge academia with companies. Well, thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I think now it's time to give the room to Andreas, that is going to show you something that is really typical of MOST, what we call the virtual smart grid labs. Andreas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Good afternoon, everyone. I will just say a few words about the introduction of the Smart Grid virtual labs that we have developed throughout this project. And then I will share with you some videos that we have prepared that are showing you in practice what we have been doing all these 3 years throughout the project, that are a result of work in other projects as well, because the virtual Smart Grid Lab contains simulations, physical systems, it contains facilities or historical data that we have been collecting all these years that are organized and stored in databases. And in this way, these data and facilities that belong to the universities that participate in this consortium, and mainly Germany, France, Italy, Greece, and Cyprus. We gather them together, organize them, manage the communications between our facilities, and all these simulations, data, or setups are integrated into our virtual platform, able to be used in our master course. The experimental setups and tests are going to be used by students that are going to take on this master that we offer, and they can have remote access to this simulation or the facilities that we have been integrating. So the platform that hosts the actual virtual Smart Grid lab enables real-life experimentation and involvement of the students in the participating universities that took up this master course. They contain the important Smart Grid elements integrated to one virtual lab to enhance the educational experience. And the main thing is that this platform is adaptable to new ideas, to new projects. As long as we have new installations or as long as we have new ideas that have been realized, we can expand this virtual Smart Grid lab platform. The actual lab is hosted by the University of Cagliari on a Moodle platform. You see this here below, the web page logo at the top, which says Master's Education Smart Grid Technologies, is hosted by University of Unica, but all the laboratory material, the simulations, the data are hosted at the University of Cyprus. But from that platform, everybody can access all the material. Just a small snapshot of what is going on that Moodle platform is the. For example, you see titles of the laboratories that we have prepared: the distribution generation performance modeling analysis that is developed, for example, by the University of Cyprus; PV and storage facilities that was developed by the University of Western Macedonia; Smart Grid system design with Smart Grid measurements from Ulm. We have the blockchain on the local market that is developed by Unica, the smart planning that is developed, and so on. We have plenty of good facilities that are integrated into that virtual lab. I would like to show you now 2 videos that have been prepared by our colleagues that develop the virtual labs, and share with you the video. Can you see my screen now or not yet?
Not yet, Andreas.
Let me see. Okay, hopefully this is going to work.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
The virtual labs developed by the UCY team sets the ground and enables students to have access and operate on information acquired by the test-bench system of the smart grid facilities of the UCY FOSS pilot. The scope of the first virtual laboratory is to present methods and tools applied to analyze the outdoor performance of distributed generation systems and specifically photovoltaics. The lab is hosted at an RStudio server with remote web interface access capabilities to students. Once logged in to the web interface of the R platform, students are able to follow the experiment and type the commands necessary in order to construct performance models and visualize the results online. As an example, by following the laboratory manual and including the necessary libraries, input parameters and data, students can construct and compile models online in order to evaluate the predicted power outputs against actual acquired power produced from PV systems installed at the UCY FOSS pilot. The model is simulated and the performance results displayed at the simulation results window. The remaining virtual labs focus to demonstrate interoperability in future energy systems by developing software-based energy flows between distributed energy resources and management systems. The lab is hosted at the Nodes Red application server of the university, and students can access the platform through the dedicated web links. At the front page screen, students are able to create simple energy flow information models by configuring nodes that connect to devices using commonly utilized interoperability protocols, such as Modbus TCP. As an example, to create an energy flow model to read the frequency from an installed smart meter located at the UCY FOSS Living Lab, the user can first place the Modbus read node to the flow workspace in order to connect to the smart meter. By clicking on the node, the user inserts all Modbus information in order to communicate to the smart meter. Once the ReadBus Modbus register node is configured, the next step is to insert a function node to convert the raw 31-bit stream into float 32 format. At the function node, the following code is inserted in order to translate acquired information to float 32. To display the information stored at the Modbus register, a response node is inserted and configured to show two consecutive 16-bit registers. Once all the connections between the nodes are established and the model deployed, a green active label appears. below the Modbus read node, and the registered data are displayed at the lower part of the Modbus response node. In this example, you can see the frequency measured in real time by the smart meter. In a similar manner, the energy flows for displaying important power quality parameters such as the voltage, current, and active power are implemented for the connected smart meter. Once the information is acquired, the platform provides the flexibility to operate and create advanced control functions, emulating actual energy management systems. Moreover, by adding the graphical user interface nodes, a customized dashboard can be created to stream in a user-friendly manner the acquired data. At a separate notebook, students can further establish information flows by also connecting to the battery inverter and the PV systems. Flows can be configured to connect to the battery inverter and acquire the state of charge and state of health of a battery system installed at the UCY FOSS pilot. Finally, by typing the above link with the user interface extension to any web browser, students are able to visualize in customized dashboards the actual measurements as they are streaming from the devices. By clicking in the MOS Moodle platform, students can have access to the virtual labs implemented by the UCY.
Well, with this, I hope you had an overview of what is happening with the virtual labs that cannot be accessed by all universities together. I have another video that is prepared by the University of Cagliari. And with this, I am we can conclude the presentation of the virtual labs.
And Andreas,
Yes.
maybe since we are a little bit late, maybe we can launch this video later.
At the end, if for people to see.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I try now to launch the MOS video, and
okay. So from me, that's all.
Yeah, that's that. Maybe we can have a general discussion at the end now. That's just to.
We cannot hear the sound, Fabrizio.
Fabrizio?
So now I think that according to the agenda, we have the 15 minutes break, and I think that we need a small break now. So but we can reduce the break to 10 minutes. So that we can start again 5 minutes before 10:30. Hello, everybody. I think we can start again. And I invite Dr. Georgios Christoforidis from the University of Macedonia, and, after Professor Andreas Stravos, to talk about the living labs that are also another key aspect of the MOST educational program. And Professor Andreas Stravos was the team working on virtual smart grid labs, and Georgios Christoforidis is the leader of the team that is been working on living labs. So, Georgios, would you like to start with your presentation? Can you hear me?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Thank you, Fabrizio. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending this webinar, this workshop of the MOST Erasmus Plus project. Indeed, I will be your guide to a virtual tour through our living labs that we have not actually constructed in this project, but organized in such a way so that they can be an integral part of our master's course. But in the beginning, let's recap a few things. First of all, what actually is a living lab? And there are many definitions, I would say. Let's see one that suits that fits in the way we see things in our living labs. So actually, we can consider that a living lab is an organized approach to innovation that consists of, first of all, real life experimentation. And second, that includes active user involvement for both students and industrial stakeholders. And also we can include here other type of stakeholders like governmental, etc. A living lab is an environment for know-how, knowledge transfer. And this is best done from industry to academia, one way, but ideally vice versa, from academia to industry as well. And through a living lab, the idea is to be able to do both. And a living lab is a framework for designing of products, of new products, innovative products, implementation, testing and prototyping these products. So the living labs can be considered also as a framework for such things. So we have the living lab infrastructure. In our project, we are using infrastructure built in different contexts and in different times through different projects. But as I said, we have found a way to put them all together and make them work for our cause. So we have the living lab infrastructure, and we have, first of all, the real life setting. This is a very crucial aspect. And for example, to give you an idea, one of the living labs that you will see in a moment concerns student dormitories. So students actually live in the dormitories, and they have the chance to experiment and to see innovative aspects of smart grids in the place where they are living. Second, in the living labs, we would like to have user engagement. We want the users of the living labs in the real life setting to be able to participate in different aspects in the organization, in the day-to-day working of the living labs, etc. And we must be able to encourage this user engagement. Thirdly, and this is, let's say, something that it's one of our strategic goals, we want the participation from various types of stakeholders. And this is something that will enable us to transform the living lab infrastructure into an actual living lab where, as I said before, new products can be tested inside. Then, when talking about new products or new services that can be prototyped and tested, we want to have co-creation. Co-creation between the different stakeholders, the users of the living labs, and of course with the scientific expertise that exists. And finally, the living labs should be able to allow different approaches or even multi-method approaches to be tested in the living labs. And all these 5 aspects, we have considered them in our living labs and how we will use them actually in the master's course. So why do we want to use living labs in a master's program? Because first of all, we want to enhance the students' educational experience in the real environment for what concerns smart grid installations and pilots. The students will be able to experience the impact of their choices on the actual users of the living labs. This actually means that in specific cases, we will give the students the opportunity to change parameters and to check how even a slight change can impact the users of the living lab, the people that live there, for example. Also, through the living lab, the research activities, the research work that is being done in the universities is enhanced as well, because we envisage that new methods and approaches will be tested in the real environment. Also, we aim to attract the participation of outside the university stakeholders and co-create research and testing activities of new products, design and methodologies. And this is something that we can do through the living labs. And to, let's say, to give the right emphasis on these goals, we have created a compulsory module in the master's program that is called Practical Application with the Living Lab, where the students will work on different types of experiments and theoretical approaches that will be different from in each living lab. So we'll have a complementary approach using all the living labs, and we will attract the students to be able to work in this real environment. So which are the living labs that we have in the most project and master course? These are located actually in 4 universities. We have the 3 universities that will actually participate initially in the joint master's program. The University of Western Macedonia, the University of Cyprus, the University of Cagliari, but also we have a living lab in the Ulm University of Applied Sciences that our students will be able to use as well. As I said before, the infrastructure has been built over the years and other different contexts and funding, but each one of them is constantly expanding and upgrading. So maybe next year we'll have a lot of more applications and things to do with our living labs. And having said this, I think it will be much better if I leave the floor to all our colleagues that have prepared 4 videos giving a virtual tour of our living labs. But I think it would be better if I switch off this presentation and share directly the video. Just give me one moment to do that. Are you seeing now the screen?
Yes, we do, Georgios. Don't forget to check the sound.
Yeah, I have done already. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin. I'll switch off my camera so that you can see it directly.
Welcome to the University of Cagliari. My name is Fabrizio Pilo. I'm the Vice Director for Technology Transfer and Innovation. It is located in Italy on the beautiful island of Sardinia, the second biggest island of the Mediterranean Sea. The University of Cagliari is 400 years old, has 6 faculties and 15 departments. And you can study medicine, biology, chemistry, law, economics, political sciences, languages, literature, pedagogy, and engineering and architecture, following bachelor, master, and PhD programs. UNICA is a robust international program with hundreds of Erasmus agreements already established with the most important European universities and worldwide. UNICA is highly committed to sustainability programs and projects and offers programs of study that are well aligned with the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals and the European goals on climate neutrality. Energy transition topics are specifically dealt with in the electrical engineering and energy engineering curriculum. A new multidisciplinary Bachelor of Sustainable Energy focusing on energy transition, renewable energy sources and electrification has been recently launched, ready for the next academic year in 2022 and 2023. MOST is the new international Master for Higher Education on Energy Transition and Green Economy, offered by the University of Cagliari, the University of Cyprus, the University of Western Macedonia in Greece, the University of Ulm in Germany, and the École des Mines Paris-Tech in France, and the 2 industrial partners, WIP in Germany and Deloitte in Cyprus. Coherently with this vision, UNICA is now building 2 campuses with photovoltaic, hydrogen, CHP, wind generation, fuel cells, charging stations for electric vehicles, and AC and DC smart power distribution networks. It is expected a 30% cut of carbon dioxide emission and a significant money saving. The 2 innovative campuses serve more than 1/3 of the UNICA students and academics, as well as labs, classrooms, offices, libraries, and other academic facilities. The high-speed communication network allows controlling and operating demand heating and AC systems, and, in a single word, enables the realization of an advanced smart grid with all typical functionalities working and installed. These are the living labs that the most students will use to test on the field the technologies and the algorithms developed during the master in a real multi-energy vector innovative history. Since the two smart campuses are crucial facilities for both research and teaching, most students will become familiar with the interaction between the smart grid and the quality of service. I'm looking forward to welcoming you as most students in Cagliari very soon.
Our century-old power grid remains the largest interconnected machine on Earth. Still, today's power grid cannot meet the transitioning to a renewable-based power grid. The Living Lab, developed by the University of Cyprus team, is an actual renewable-powered nanogrid pilot located within the Dare to Grid smart outdoor infrastructure of the FOSS Research Center. The Living Lab comprises of solar photovoltaic systems that are grid-connected via smart controllable inverters with enabled SunSpec and Modbus TCP communication, a central weather station that includes meteorological sensors such as pyranometers, ambient temperature, wind speed and direction sensors, and a battery storage system that is AC coupled to the grid. Additionally, a network of smart meters has been installed at critical locations within the nanogrid in order to acquire high-resolution measurements, such as the point of interconnection and main electrical consumption boards. The brain of the lab is a next-generation programmable automation controller that has been specifically configured to acquire high-resolution data at frequency of 1 Hz from all distributed energy resources and smart meters installed within the Living Lab. The custom-developed cloud dashboards provide the means of visualizing in real time the data streams that reflect the operational status of all assets within the Living Lab. In more detail, the nanogrid feeder dashboard exhibits the power parameters of the installed controllable PV systems, charging and discharging status of the battery, and smart meter measurements at the point of the interconnection. Moreover, the main power quality parameters of the total harmonic distortion, crest factor and K factor are presented and configured for event-driven alerting functions according to the local grid codes. In addition, the Solar Plus Storage dashboard exhibits the real-time operational status and performance of the installed PV and battery system. Another important feature of the lab is the direct communication and control of the installed smart inverters by changing the set points and modes of operation using Modbus TCP and SunSpec information modules. The Living Lab also acts as a SCADA system for the entire university, since all measurements of the installed smart meters within the campus are integrated via Modbus TCP communication and streamed in real time. Finally, the SCADA dashboard is specifically configured to provide alerts based on local grid codes for voltage, frequency and harmonic levels, while user-friendly plots depict the active power within the microgrid.
Hi, my name is Despina. I am a postgraduate student at University of Western Macedonia, and today I will be your guide in our Living Lab presentation. In our university, we have chosen the student dormitories for the development of the Living Lab, and this is because real people live in, so whatever changes happen in infrastructure and operating conditions of the equipment directly affects them, contrary to what happens in a fully controlled traditional laboratory environment. The dormitories and the facilities are placed in the campus nearby the university's main building. A 22 kilowatt peak PV system has been installed on the rooftop of one of the 3 wings of the dormitory buildings, along with a battery energy storage system with approximately 20 kilowatt hours capacity. Now, let's see how the PV power is utilized. Here you can see 2 3-phase hybrid inverters, and nearby I'm showing to you the battery pack cluster. In this configuration, both the PV output and the battery's input are connected to the same inverter, and this is actually the meaning of the hybrid inverters. The energy flow management among these assets is implemented under the following scheme. The PV power surplus is stored to the batteries. Rationally, when the load demand is higher than the PV power generation, then the batteries are discharged. The most crucial part of our living lab is the installation of several measurement units. These are used in order to measure and monitor power consumption and tapping conditions. For example, here you can see a power meter installed at the departure of a power line that serves several routes. Operational characteristics like voltage, current, power, harmonics and others are monitored and stored in a database. Of course, the Living Lab development is an ongoing procedure. Quite recently, we have installed smart plugs in all sockets of several student rooms. These smart plugs can measure energy consumption with various recording frequencies. The plugs are connected to a Wi-Fi network, and all measurements are transferred to a central database. Now, let's see some dashboards of real-time measurements. For example, here we can see historical and real-time data of the PV power production. It seems that today's production is poor due to cloudy weather, and also here we can see historical and real-time data of the state of charge of the battery system. It seems that for the most of the days of this week, the batteries seem to be almost fully discharged. Here we can see measurements from a different measurement device. For example, we can measure in real time the active and the reactive power, as well as the current, the voltage, and the power factor of the installation. And also we can measure other operational characteristics like harmonics. Here we can see the dashboard of the smart plugs. The main concept is to monitor the operation of individual appliances. For example, with the purple line we can see the charging of a cell phone in 2 different time periods, and also with the orange line we can see a full operational cycle of a washing machine.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Experimental Distribution Grid Control Center in the Ulm University of Applied Sciences. And here, as you have seen, we have an experimental system. We call it experimental, but actually it has the very similar setup and configuration as a commercial system. So this product is not only used by us, it's also used by a lot of grid operators all over the world. And when we talk about grid operation and grid planning, we usually talk about the high voltage level, medium voltage level. But here we are smart grid research group, so we look deep into the events and state transmission in the distribution network, which could be seen here on the screen. Now we see a network with some PV systems and loads, and we also have live measurement from simulated system. So in this case, all the devices and systems are simulated, but we also have real system in field, which means we also get measurements and we can control the system in real time. And this is realized with help of the smart meter infrastructure, which will be rolled out in Germany in the next years.
We are standing here for our central rack with our equipment for set up the different experiments. We are able in our laboratories to configure a separate network, energy network, separated from the normal official grid, so we can utilize this laboratory to build an environment with special conditions like overvoltage or different frequency of the energy supply. Therefore, we have as a central component a network simulator. We can simulate different net conditions, and then we can see how different components or the system in its complete can react on these net situations, on these grid situations. In addition, we can introduce different test equipment like a load that we can configure, and it works as a virtual load for the different purposes like energy heating or like an electric car. So different kinds of loads are possible here.
So one of our specialties in the lab at THU is that we have different equipment and have the possibility to realize different implementations, starting from virtual implementations and simulations going on to physical implementations. As you can see here, it illustrates a hardware in the loop setup where we have different stages, starting with a stage M, which just generates random values for the test setup or the system under test, going to the stage C, which generates measurements from the real-time simulation. And then finally we have stage C, which is a full power hardware in the loop setup, and it integrates also a real physical inverter. So as we progress through these stages, we have the possibility to raise the trustworthiness of the results of the test. But on the other side, the complexity of course, it arises. And this setup is being controlled by a test automation, which generates a test report at the end.
Okay, that's it. I hope that you liked it.
Yes, that's a great video. Thank you very much, George. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Managing this. And now I think that I have seen some questions on the chat, but maybe it's better to answer later. It's time to start with the roundtable and Gerd.
Yes, dear participants of the MOST webinar, it's a great pleasure.
Can I introduce you? Or?
Okay, you can, of course.
Yes, and Gerd Elster, the head of the Institute of Smart Grid Research from the University of Ulm. It's really a pleasure to have you with us. So please, Gerd, now the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Fabrizio, so it's a great pleasure for me to welcome our guests for this panel discussion on smart grid education. So we have on the right top, at least on my screen, Dr. Rainer Enzenhofer from Transnet BW, the transmission system operator in the southwest of Germany. Then in the middle on my screen below myself, it's Carsten Ross from Siemens Smart Infrastructure, and he brought with him also a young colleague, and I'm very happy that you are with us, Max Helming, also from Siemens Smart Infrastructures. So first of all, I like to ask our guests to present themselves shortly and their role in your company, and so let's start with Rainer Enzenhofer.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, Gerd. My name is Rainer Enzenhofer, and I'm working for Transnet BW for the last 7 years in the context of innovation and research programs. I'm there in the role of the manager of disruptive developments in the sense of grid economics. So we look into the future, how the system going to look like in 2030, 2040, if it's going to be more or less carbon free. And so we take the position that we want to have a holistic view on the energy system and look into the potentials, how small scale flexibilities could be introduced into the markets and integrated. So that's basically what my daily business is.
Yeah, this is this big change, from the big power plants to the millions of small power plants. And this is really a challenge. And I think one of the reasons we need smart grids. So let's continue with Carsten Ross from Siemens Smart Infrastructures.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, warm welcome from my side, and thank you that I can participate today in this interesting session. Yeah, I've been working with Siemens since about 30 years. I'm from Siemens Germany, from the business unit Digital Grid. And this implies already that I have to deal in my daily work with smart grids. But that was not all the time like this. So I started in this before already mentioned traditional energy management and power control system business. I've done sales in Germany, Europe, worldwide. That was already challenging. But I have to say that my biggest change in the business career was the introduction of smart grids, because then my control center became part of a real dynamic environment. So today I have to deal with electromobility, the decentralized energy automation, energy efficiency. And also I appreciate the cooperation with Technical University in Ulm, where we work closely together on research and development project. Yeah, thank you to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Carsten. So we continue with Max Helmig, as you see, the youngest one, but you can look back to 2 years experience. So what was your job so far at Siemens?
Yeah, thanks for the quick introduction. I'm currently working also directly with Carsten, I think so. Most of the time I'm working in the operations field at Siemens, especially for switchgear operations and network control. And I'm also working at Digital Grid. So yeah, most of the time I'm directly working for smart grids, especially electrical cars, how to integrate them into our systems. And for example, we had a customer near Frankfurt. He wanted to integrate, I think it was like around 10 loading points for electrical cars into his normal facilities. And yeah, that's a big part for us. So I have to deal a lot of time, my time goes to smart grids.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. So Rainer, my first question for you: why do we need smart grids and smart grid education?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I briefly introduced it why we need smart grids, right? So we are right now in a huge transition of the energy system. We are in a fade out of the coal power plants and also the larger power plants. And we also look into a carbon-free society by 2040, more or less, in the energy sector, because the energy sector has to be earlier carbon-free than the other sectors. And So we look for solutions, or we need solution in that we integrate flexibility or energy which are anyway available, and these are more or less a small scale flexibility. So we basically say this is more or less the decentralization of the power plants. And looking into Europe, I see that there are 4 key Ds. They always call the 4 Ds. It's the digitalization, the democratization, the decentralization, and the decarbonization. And the word already says it, that we can only enable the decentralization if we democratize the system, so that we enable the customer to be part of the energy system. And we can do that by digitalization, so looking into new technologies in communication technologies, also in blockchain technologies. So that's why I really liked in your MOST program that you also introduced 2 ECTS in the blockchain field. And when we look now into graduates, we need graduates who have a capability to deal with data, to have a mathematical and informatics background. So how to look into data science, but not only data science. Well, we find data scientists right now for our company, but these are mostly lacking the information regarding energy. So either we get people who have an energy background, or we get people who have a data scientist background. And we basically need both. And on top, because smart grid is only one part, we also have to look on smart markets. So basically, that the whole system runs, and sometimes smart grids takes it both, more or less. Yes, we talk always about smart grids, but what we mean is that we talk about smart markets as well. Because if we want to incentivize the customer to participate within the energy system across all sectors, we have to look in new products and in smart products, and so we need also the skills of graduates regarding innovation management and business innovation management. Yeah.
I hope not all the students and interested people are here now leaving the room when we say this is all what you need. Yeah. But in the end, yeah, it's this knowledge has to come together. Yeah. So thanks for this insight. But it might be several people. So Carsten Ross, we work with your Siemens controls and with the charge point operation, and we joined forces for smart grid controls of distributed energy systems. When you look into your company and your clients, yeah, so what kind of smart grid knowledge do you think you need there, yeah, which you lack for the moment right now, as you don't have the people that Rainer just described? Yeah.
Yeah, interesting question. And the keyword was our clients, of course, as a supplier, as Siemens. Everything is customer focused. So the understanding of the market, where are the clients, what are their needs, what is the necessity to bring out into the market to build up the future. This is very important, and it starts from top. Some keywords already mentioned, decarbonization, energy efficiency, and so on, and goes down to the individual needs of each customer. And I have seen the previous sessions, you have these practical works and the live labs where you can provide such a knowledge. So the customer focus is very important to know for whom we are doing all this, to know the stakeholders, the shareholders, and their requirements. Nevertheless, in a smart grid, it's a very dynamic environment, as I said. So the solution is one part, but the integration of the solution within the overall smart grid, this know-how is also very important. So the individual solution is only one piece of a puzzle, and to know how they interconnect, what data have to be exchanged, how you can set up intelligent solutions, dynamic solution is another important part. And finally, to mention it again, the practical know-how. So this touch point with real customers, with real projects, already during the education program, that brings the experiences to deal with these different environments and how to deploy the individual solution in the smart grid. So this is something we are really looking for, and this wide range of know-how I think can really be provided by such a education program as provided here.
Thank you. So, Max Helmig, you heard what they think new employees should know all about, yeah. But on the other side, we heard that you work basically in smart grid since 2 years. Yeah? So when you look back to your studies, so to which extent you have been prepared by your university to the work that you had to do now at Siemens?
Yeah, first of all, I hope that I fit Carsten's profile. So I studied electrical and information technology at the University of Applied Science in Hamburg. And in my opinion, it was just the basic foundation to work at Siemens, just to get to know energy markets and also how to speak at Siemens or in the energy background or with the people with an energy background. And especially with the information technology background, like Mr. Enzenhofer just mentioned, Siemens is taking, in my opinion, a huge step, or is shifting from the classical provider for switchgear automation technology towards much more software-based or software-focused markets, and therefore information technology is a great way to get into Siemens and to work with them. For example, Carsten and I are currently working on a project where we want to make better switching decisions based on AI-based forecasts for loads or every KPI that the customer wants, basically. So information technology, data science in combination with electrical technology or general interest in energy markets, I think is a nice to have thing, and therefore a master's degree could also be a good add-on for myself, because I did only do a bachelor's degree. So
okay.
I think it's a good good program.
Yeah, I thought that this was already a master. So excellent. So the job they did in Hamburg with energy informatics seemed to be fit very well. What you heard from your side. So when we come to our last question for Transnet or for Siemens, do you have enough smart grid experts in your company, or what are the chances for smart grid masters in your company? Yeah. So Rainer, perhaps you want to start.
Yeah, so of course we have many skilled people at our company, and I think we were one of the privileged companies in the last years that built up a huge amount of people. So we have roughly a growing rate of 20% per year, wow, looking for people, and to be honest, it's not easy to find actually experts that combine smart grid knowledge in the sense how to integrate flexibility resources into the grid. Mostly these are PhD students, but not on a master level. So there's a huge need actually for a master degree that combines the knowledge over several domains like informatics, electrical engineering, but also economics, and I believe also of mathematics to know how to deal with data. We at Transnet BW are just about on a shift to introduce more agile teams. So we want to introduce product owners, and especially for those product owners, you need people who have a broader view on how the system functions. You don't have to be too deep into the depth, too deep into the topic, but you should have a broad overview. And so I think that master also is very suitable for that, because you get a technical background, you get a digital background, information, communication, protocols. So that is actually quite good. And I think the chances are quite high. And already today we hire data scientists, but it's hard to get them that combine both worlds. Yeah.
Thank you. So good to hear from your side. So when we look to Siemens, Carsten, what do you think? In which area do you get the people you need, or would this master course on smart grids add to the market?
Yeah, even if I have to say, I think Siemens is still a good name where people want to go to and work with, especially also young people. Nevertheless, we have to fight hard, even as Siemens, and there are a lot of efforts right at the universities starting to discuss with students on their career, bringing them during your study in our company to show them what possibilities there are, and to show them also the wide range of opportunities they have. And you cannot say early what you want to do in 5 or 10 years. And that's why we need a broad basis of know-how and knowledge. And I think this master degree is really a dedicated one in order to set up such a knowledge. And I think we can really build up, especially also in such pilot and research projects, a strategy together how to grow people, young people, into this business and find the right place for them to really bring up their knowledge and to develop within our company. So everybody who wants to join, we can really start to discuss this, and I would be more than happy if there are some contacts interesting in it.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you a lot. And when I look at the time, we are at least 10 minutes late. Thank you for participating at this panel discussions. And I hand over back to Fabrizio for some closing remarks. As we have seen from our panelists, we are not on the wrong way, Fabrizio, isn't it?
No. Absolutely, you're right. Yes, thank you very much, all the panelists, for giving us this good information. That's okay. We are not on the wrong way, and for sure that's as you said at the beginning, we are moving from a few central generation to thousands and thousands of small ones, and most of the investments will be in the distribution systems, and we need a lot of intelligence, and we have also to involve everyone, not only producers but also consumers, demand, and that's something that is really challenging for TSOs as the guest that you have kindly invited, and that's also challenging for DSOs. It's also challenging for companies that build the devices and systems. So I think like Siemens, it's really important. And I think that also for students that are interested to this master, the fact that there are companies working with us, it's another good sign that we are not in the wrong direction. That's really important.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Carsten. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I think, bye-bye. So I think that now we have almost completed and this webinar, and general remarks. Most is a project with the goal to design a new master program. Now the master program is being designed, and we have identified the instructors, we have the material, we have PowerPoint presentations, books, and everything ready in the platform. And so we are almost done. We need now to finalize the project, and we have to officially launch the master, at least in the 3 universities of Cagliari, of Cyprus, and Western Macedonia. And so the master will be offered by 3 universities, and but all the instructors will be from all the universities in the consortium, and even from other universities that we have involved for some specific topic. So everything is okay, and I think that the best way to conclude is with the most video that we have we have prepared. So maybe Sophia can launch the most our video with the audio, because when I tried to do that, the audio was not really functional. But I invite Georgios, Andreas, and Gert before closing to say something if they want, or to add something to my remarks. So Professor Stavros, Professor Christoforidis, would you like to add something, Professor Ernst? Gert, are you there?
I think he left.
Okay. But Andreas, would you like to add something?
Not much. I think the panelists said it very clearly. they have different people now knowing different things. They have people that are related to data management. They have people on power systems. They have computer scientists, and all these people need to get together in order to serve smart grids. And with the good choice of courses, I think somebody with a power systems background can be that person that links all this knowledge in order to guide industry ahead. I'm
Yes.
very positive with this direction of the project.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it is not, sorry to interrupt, Fabrizio, and it is not a process that is one-off. I think from today's discussion, we all realize that we need to have a constant communication with our industrial partners and stakeholders in order to continuously expand and make our courses compatible with what the industry needs, with what the actual needs of the market and the smart grids are. And this is something that it's very, very important, and we need to keep that in mind always. And this is what we will do, actually, and we have been doing all this time.
So yes, and George, I agree, and but I really agree on the fact that we should educate new professionals capable to talk all together, and this is something difficult at the moment, something that we really miss. And as you said, it's a long process. It's not only a single shot. We have to do a lot of things to obtain this, to achieve this goal. But anyway, I think that we are in a good direction. This is the most important thing. And I think that if Sophia can, we can conclude with. And there was a question that I want to answer before. Yes, Sophia, please, just 1 minute. There was a question on the background. Who can attend the master? And everyone with an engineering background can attend the master. This is exactly what we want to put together: engineers from communication, from electrical engineers, energy engineers, and computer scientists. We want to put all together in the master. So the background is an engineering scientific background, and then we have the first semester to harmonize differences and to make all capable to follow the master. That's the most important answer that I would like to pass to the attendees before closing the session with our video. So Sophia, please, if you can start, but this is also, before starting, thank you very much, all of you, for attending the meeting. Thank you, Georgios, Andreas, Sophia, Susanna, and everyone for the efforts to make this webinar and most a reality. Thank you very much. So please, Sophia, thank you.
Thank you.
The current electricity grid has evolved over 100 years. It has served the economy and society brilliantly, but is not sustainable for modern times due to its one-way architecture from the power plant to the consumer. Smart grids offer a bi-directional way of exchange of electricity and information between sources and consumers, adding
energy sources and electrification.
Can you not hear the sound?
Moreover, they enable the decentralized operation of energy systems.
We could hear the sound, but we lost the video, Sophia.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yes, what happened?
We have bad luck with this video today.
It was okay.
Okay. Let's try again. But so also we take this chance to thank everybody. Okay, let's try it again.
Electricity grid has evolved over 100 years. It has served the economy and society brilliantly, but is not sustainable for modern times due to its one-way architecture from the power plant to the consumer. Smart grids offer a bi-directional way of exchange of electricity and information between sources and consumers, adding flexibility as a result. They are digital, foster renewable energy sources, and electrification of end users. Moreover, they enable the decentralized operation of energy systems that is crucial to efficiently manage renewable energy sources. Smart grids are basically a digital superhero that fights climate change with its virtual superpowers. To unleash all the benefits smart grids can offer, well-skilled experts must be trained. The MOST project lies in the center of energy transition. The highly innovative master course is designed to equip tomorrow's experts with competencies crucial for the next step towards clean energy.
Okay. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sophia.
Goodbye. Thank you, Fabrizio. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.